And good evening, everybody. It's your boy Cruz, the Beast from the East, and you are watching Cruise Inc. Radio 102.8 TV. Want to say Happy New Year to everybody out there. Hope that you guys have been enjoying the first 5 days of the new year. And I know it's been like just crazy bananas here in Richmond with the weather. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I don't know. I am just elated about 2023. This is our first broadcast, by the way, of 2023. So we're glad to have you with us. Certainly appreciate you being here tonight. Thursday nights, Sunday nights are going to be the place to be here as we're going to be interviewing people throughout the year. So we're glad to be back on the air. We took a break for a moment and it's just good to be back on the air. I don't know how to act. I'm like a kid in a candy shop with this tonight. So want you to sit back and enjoy. We got a lot of things going on. We're going to be talking to Mr. Donald G, who is the managing partner with the G Law Firm. I know many of you that are from the Richmond area know Donald G and Earl G and again, that entire law firm. So we're going to be talking to them. This show tonight is being sponsored by the G Law Firm. So they appreciate their sponsorship and support over the last 2 years. You too can become a sponsor as well. Want to know how? Just give us a call at 804-601-0281. And if you can also send us an email, and that's cruisingradio@gmail.com. You can listen to us 24/7. We have smooth jazz, R&B, gospel, news, everything 24 hours a day. And all you have to do is go to cruisingradio.com. So we certainly appreciate all of you being with us. We're going to get started here. But first, here's a word from our sponsor.
What happened was a machine came down, clamped both of my hands down, and had removed 6 digits. So I was in a bad situation. I didn't know what else to do, and I know I needed some type of help, so I called the G Law Firm. They gave me confidence throughout the whole case that everything was going to be fine. They're not only lawyers, but they are family. Call the G Law Firm. I did.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is your boy, Cruz, the Beast from the East, and we are elated to be here with you tonight. I want to tell you a little bit about our guest. Before we do that, though, got a couple of things lined up for you tonight. We're going to have a special feature tonight from Miss Costella from out in California. This woman is a songbird, and we're going to be featuring her. Her video, and she is also the Cruising Radio 102.8 featured artist. So let me tell you a little bit about the weather here, what we got going on in the Cap City. It is currently 61 degrees here in the Cap City. We had a high today of 68 and expecting a low of 40 tonight. It's going to be clear, so it's going to be a nice night if you want to let the windows up and turn the heat off and let some of that breeze in and everything. Let me tell you what's going to be going on the rest of the week. We're looking at tomorrow. It's going to be mostly sunny with a high of 54 degrees, a low of 32. Saturday, it's going to be mostly cloudy with 50 degrees as your high and 32 as your low. Sunday is when we're going to get that rain. It's a mostly shower. It's going to be 40 degrees and 38 is going to be the low for the night. And then on Monday to start off your work week, it's going to be 55 degrees and 33 is going to be the low when you get ready to go back. So it's going to be a little bit different here in the Cap City. So the next couple of days, you need to get outside and enjoy. We've been cooped up. You know, this is the first time that we kind of been able to get out and really move around. If you notice during the New Year's, a lot of people were downtown in New York. They looked at some of the restrictions. So that's a great thing going on. Now, let me tell you, this is who you all tuned in for and been waiting for. Let me tell you about this young man right here. First of all, he is the ultimate professional. Don G is the managing partner and has been practicing law for over 30 years. My brother don't even look 30 years old. I think he cheated somewhere. He found that fountain of youth. There is no case Donald can't handle. He is passionate about helping those injured due to someone else's negligence. His passion to help injured people is driven by his own personal experience with an insurance company. Donald has extensive experience handling various types of personal injury cases, including car crashes, tractor trailer accidents, defective products, and wrongful death. After graduating from law school, Donald experienced a serious, and I mean a serious, head on collision that resulted in multiple injuries, countless doctor visits, and numerous medical procedures. The healing process was grueling. The interaction and the experience with the insurance company was exhausting, even with an attorney. And I'm gonna ask him. We'll get into it a little bit. I guess coming out of law school, he didn't want to hurt him too bad, so he got him an attorney to handle that for him. I hear, don't hurt him, hammer. Donald has lingering effects from his injuries. The physical reminders of that experience is a constant motivation to take on the insurance companies and fight for every client. Donald is passionate to litigate on behalf of injured persons and personally understand the difficulties and circumstances and the special challenges that face each and every one of you. And I got to do this for Don because he was getting off the plane and he didn't get a chance to see this. So I want him to see this intro here as we go back because this is him all day long. So let me tell you a little bit, and then the next person that I will be talking to right after this will be Mr. Donald J. G himself. And good evening, good evening, good evening. What's going on, Mr. G?
How are you, Mr. Cruz? I am well, and thank you for having me.
Man, we are just honored to have you here with us this evening. I know that the air traffic controller called us and told us that your flight was a little bit delayed, but they will get you here on time.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I've been on the road for the last few weeks. It's killing me. It's good to be home and stable.
Look, I understand. See, but that's what happens when you're so good. You know, you call here and there and everywhere. But again, we're so glad to have you to take some time out. First of all, we want to say we really appreciate you sponsoring Cruise Inc. Radio 102.8 and also this telecast tonight because of your generosity, the generosity of the law firm, we're able to get information out to people, bring them quality programs, and we certainly appreciate that.
Well, Cruz, I'll say this. It's my pleasure to do that because of the information that you get out into the various communities, no matter where people are listening and watching. And I really think that you do a great job in doing that. And most of the time, you're spot on.
Well, I try to be. I'm going for 100% accuracy this year.
Okay.
And man, I'd be remiss in my duties if I didn't thank also Angela Knight with the AK 1 and 2 had a fabulous uh, facility there. If you are looking to rent for any occasion, you need to check her out. If you need to go next door, it's got some great Western frontier. You got fish tables, you got all type of gamings right there, centrally located in Southside. I want to give a shout out to Southside. So give her a call at 804-874-6881. So, Dr. G, man, I'm sure a lot of people, I'm going to kind of go back down memory lane here. Most people probably think that you were just born with a silver spoon. Somebody just handed you a law firm and everything, and you've been off running. So tell me, us first of all, where are you from? Where did you grow up at?
I am from a little town called Victoria, Virginia. It's inside of Lunenburg County. For those of you who are even closer, remotely close to Richmond, it's about an hour and a half away from Richmond. And I grew up with five other siblings and a single mom. And she preached education. And believe me, I wanted to listen to education because that was a lot easier than working in that tobacco field, slopping those hogs, milking those cows, getting eggs from chickens. And if you wanted to eat something, you had to grow it. So I did not have a silver spoon, didn't even know what a silver spoon was until I saw that show on TV after I was a grown man.
So wait a minute. I'm trying to visualize you out there messing with the chickens, man. Okay, that one got me. But the way the price of eggs is now, everybody talking about growing chickens, right?
Yeah, man. It was a straight up farm. My grandfather had carved out 20 acres for my mom, and so it wasn't just we had this little field. We had fields of things, and my grandfather, after he carved that out, he was still left with over 200 acres. So I pretty much grew up on over 230 acres. Cutting timber down. If you wanted heat, you used the firewood. We didn't have a button that we could press. And as I said before, anything that nature provided, that's how we lived. And at some point during my lifetime, it wasn't a faucet. It was you go down there and you pump that well a little bit and you get yourself a bucket of water. And if that well is not working, you go about 200 yards into the woods and you take the pails with you and you bring back 2 pails of water from the spring.
Man, I know probably these young people that's listening probably like, what is he talking about? Because they're so technological advanced now. They don't even know what an outhouse is. You mentioned outhouse, they'd be like, what in the world is that?
Yeah, we had our share of outhouses, and again, I'm just grateful the way I grew up because it gave me an appreciation for having something and wanting to work hard for it. Because you didn't want to stay back there. You wanted to get up and do better for yourself. And it wasn't just me. My mom preached education, and my oldest brother, when he got to be 18 years old, graduated from high school, he said, "I'm out of here. I'm going to college." He went to Virginia State, and then he's in that first black class that went to the Medical College of Virginia's, the dental program there. So he came out as a dentist and did that for 40 years. And then one of my law partners, my brother Earl, same way, St. Paul's College. He couldn't wait to get off the farm. St. Paul's College, and then to Virginia State to get a master's degree, and then to Howard Law. And I sort of followed both my brothers. One went to MCV, VCU. I went to VCU undergrad, and then went to Howard Law myself.
Man, that's amazing. Howard is steeped in tradition. Now, did you want to?
We got the vice president, baby. Come on now. We got the vice president from Howard.
Now look at you. Okay? You finna call roll. I guess you go ahead with Diddy and Taraji and just call the roll, right?
Hey, don't forget Doug Wilder, the governor.
You see, I tell you, man. So now your brother went to St. Paul, and I heard a lot about that over the years. What sent you in the direction of Howard?
What sent me in the direction of Howard was actually my brothers. Again, I started off at VCU. I was going to go to Hampton, and where I actually could have run the 100-yard dash and long jumped, but I was too afraid to travel that extra, hour down the road. Richmond was a little bit far for me, so I decided to go to VCU because my brother was in his last year of the dental program there, so I would have family that I could relate to. So you could say I went to VCU because I was a chicken to go anyplace else. And and then and from there, the my brother Earl said, "Look, you've had that experience because when I started VCU in 1978, you didn't see a whole lot of us there at that time." And my brother said, "Well, you tried that experience, that you need to come to HBCU and see what you get there." So that's what put me into Howard. I filled out one application for law school and got accepted to Howard.
That's amazing. It really is. And you were, was it 1986 is when you passed the bar exam? Is that correct?
Yes, 1986 is when I passed the bar exam, but I graduated from Howard Law School in 1985. But I, I went to graduation, and I was in the process of moving all of my things back from the DC area, and that was an education in itself, coming from a one traffic light town. I was moving my things back, got here to Richmond, and a guy decided that he wanted my side of the road and hit me head on, and sort of set me back for a little bit between all the medications and the procedures that they gave me over there at Chippenham Hospital, thanks to now retired orthopedic surgeon William K. Fleming. He put Humpty Dumpty back together again, and set me back from having to get through the bar exams during that period. So instead of being licensed, what I think would have been in 1985, I got licensed in 1986, August 9th to be exact.
That's something that when you have a head-on collision or something traumatic like that, you never forget those days. So again, reading your bio and just knowing you personally, how that you are a fighter, uh, how often does that resonate with you, Donald, when you hear cases of people being involved in head-on collisions and their lives virtually changed at that point?
Well, head-on collisions can change your life. It's one of the nastiest ways to be injured in any automobile accident. But I talk about all sorts of accidents mainly because it's not just the head-ons that you seem to have people sort of squinching at. It's if you get hit in the rear, you get hit in the side. Your body was not made to do some of those type things that you're going to do in a car. Um, and when you're hit or any other vehicle. And you have to remember back then, until 1989, I believe it was, we didn't have a seatbelt law in Virginia. And so, needless to say, coming out of law school, understanding tort law, I still wasn't wearing a seatbelt when I got hit. So that made it even more nasty. And so whenever I hear that, I think about all the little things that could go wrong with you, all the way up to all the big things that can go wrong with any individual, whether they go to their family practitioner or they go to straight to surgery. It doesn't matter. These type things will upset your life a lot more than you think. And the insurance industry wants you to believe that once this happens and you finish going to the doctors, but you're perfectly fine. You're never going to be perfectly fine. I don't care what age it is. My accident happened when I was 25 years old, and I am now 62 and be 63 in April, and I still feel the effects of it. Um, there's such a thing called accelerated arthritis. It's going to happen. I don't care who you are and what condition you're in. I've tried to maintain my weight and posture as well as I can because I just don't want certain things to happen at this point now. So I stay in pretty good shape. I work out every day. I know I'm not a muscle man, but I do work out every day so that I don't have to feel some of the problems that you'd be feeling just from the repercussions of that accident.
And you were talking about some of the the physical aspects, but there's also a mental aspect that's it's kind of hard to measure. I know my stepson recently, we were in trial with him. He was hit head on, and we talked about the psychological changes that occur with him. Uh, and we got to know that the insurance companies know that. Is that just something they just want to kind of skate by? Or is it hard to measure the psychological damage sometimes, Donald?
Well, when you start talking about the insurance company has to know, oh, certainly you know, but the insurance company, like everything else, it's all about the business. It's all about the bottom line. It's all about the dollars. It's all about paying those stockholders and those other officers in those corporations. Well, I don't care what insurance company it is. It's about how much money you can put in their pockets. And so they want to minimize as much as they can what you may be going through. Um, all the way to the standpoint that they want to make you feel bad about some of the things that you're feeling, and they're saying that typically it can't be happening, and then they hope to find oftentimes a jury that wants to buy into that that lie. I know there's some fraud that goes on with some individuals. They pretend to be hurt more than that they are, but nobody can measure that. No one can measure that. And it comes down to each and every individual how much pain that they can take or how much discomfort they can take. So the insurance companies know that from a physical standpoint and mentally, man, you could be tore up mentally and not even know it. Me, I was a classic case of post-traumatic stress disorder. And that was because I was hit head on at nighttime and for months after having trying to get through the physical part of it. And then I want to try to go out and drive. I couldn't drive because every time a light flashed before my eyes, it would carry me back and I would react just naturally. I would react to it, trying to evade something coming my way. And that light from a headlight could have been, a quarter mile down the road.
Right.
So that post-traumatic stress disorder took me down for a while. And then it started making you second guess yourself a lot also, because when you think you're feeling better, all it takes is one little misstep to make that L4, L5, S1 section of my back start hurting again or send a sharp pain through it. And you're like, okay, I'm really not as healed as I think that I am. And you're calling the doctor, you're going back to the doctor saying, what am I supposed to do with this? I felt this. And he said, it's all part of the natural healing process. But then mentally, that starts wearing on you. And then you start second guess some of the physical things that you want to do. And of course, all along during the process, you may have had to get individuals to do things for you that you could do yourself. So it makes you feel a little bit less of a person. And then as the process goes on, whether it's weeks or months, and certain things you can't do for yourself, that mentally and emotionally weighs on you also.
Donald, and again, I'm going back down memory lane here because I recall when I first moved to Virginia, and I had a church down in Petersburg, not far from you all's office on Sycamore. Did that take you back down memory lane?
Back down memory lane, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's before they, tore down the hospital. You all right
Yes.
across the street from the hospital, and
66 South Sycamore, yes, sir.
yes, people then you all had a reputation for being tenacious, being thorough. Even again, this was back in 1995. You could have probably went on and worked for another company. Why did you decide, and why did you and your brother decide that you all wanted to open up your own practice? Because that's most people go and they look for the big firms to work for.
Well, it meant a lot to us, not just to me, but it meant a lot to my brother Earl, because at the time he had a good job. He had a very good job. It was not as stressful. He worked for the Army JAG. Actually, he retired out of the Army JAG as a full colonel. And but it meant something to have our own. And then our late partner, Donald McKeechin, it meant a lot for him. He was with a large firm. He had a nice job coming straight out of UVA's law school, but we sit down and we talked and we wanted to do things and have something that we could say was ours, but at the same time, be able to put ourselves out there a certain way. So we're not that firm that is going to say, okay, bring me your, $500,000 cases, bring me your $100,000 cases, bring me your $5 million cases. No, bring me your case and let's see what we can do. So whether it's, as the insurance company would like to say, whether it's doesn't have a lot of bang up, it's an impact case to them. They say it's minimum impact, or whether it's a rollover and you fell down a cliff and crushed the whole body of the vehicle. We don't care. We take all of those cases, and we wanted to be able to service people, whether they had large cases or small cases. And with a lot of the large law firms, those type things just don't fit into what they do, because it's the profit line. Doesn't mean that they're not good lawyers and they're not great lawyers. But what it means is we want to make sure that we can fit everybody into our services. And in doing so, we're going to treat that $2,000 case like we would treat a $2 million case. We're still going to work it up. We're still going to advise you. We're still going to tell you the things that you need to do.
We're gonna take a quick break here, and when we come back, we want to talk about the three pillars that I call them of your firm, which is reputation, respect, and result. And then we're going to talk about how you guys are so passionate about the community and what has been driving you all over the last 30 years to be involved in the community. And again, man, you all do so many phenomenal things that people don't know about. And then we want to talk about an award that you got from, and I think it was 2019, from the Black Wall Street, and what that means, and kind of fuse that all into talking about Black businesses and some of the reasons that you all were so successful. And maybe somebody listening this evening that'll be watching this program will be able to take what you guys have done and parlay that into a successful business also. So I got a little entertainment for you, Donald. We have a young lady out of California. Her name is Estelle. And man, I'm hoping that she can come to the venue one day, because we got some excellent talent here in the city, some as well. But this is our featured artist for Cruise Inc. Radio. So I think you're going to enjoy this one.
Okay.
Just let me love you. Hey, when can I see you? You gonna come over tonight? Okay, all right. I'll see you then. Bye.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Cruise Inc. Radio 102.8. And that was Costella out of California. And that record, the reason that, Donald, that's impressive to me because for indie artists, and you know this because I think your son is involved in the industry music, for us people of color, she and her family did that entire production, her daughter, son. She writes. So that is phenomenal to see that type of quality, and her voice is just simply amazing.
Yeah, just watching the video and knowing now the background of it and understanding what my son goes through when he's doing things. A lot of folks don't understand that that product that you just got for that 4 or 5 minutes. There's a lot more work that goes into it than just standing someplace and recording it and singing and lip syncing. It's a lot of hard work that goes into that. So congratulations to her.
Well, absolutely. And talking about hard work, and 30 years, Donald, you guys have been grinding and grinding. And like I said, you don't even look 30, man. So, you're taking good care of yourself, working out and doing the things. And uh, off camera one night, you mentioned that certain period of time you're gonna be in bed. You're not gonna be up late, right?
That's right. Most of the time, I'm up every morning, typically putting my shoes on around 4:15, 4:30, so I can go work out and run. And then I'm at my desk most mornings between 6 and 6:15. So I don't stay up too many nights, too long and too much. And then my body burns and crashes on Friday night. So most people don't find me out on Friday nights. I'm typically in bed around 7, 8 o'clock.
That's why we had to go ahead and get this schedule early, so we won't interrupt your bedtime, man.
Yes, sir. And I
Um,
appreciate that.
as a businessman here, before we get more into the law, and as you can see, Castella is watching the broadcast.
Yes.
What would you say to her and others that are pursuing, like I said, having your own? Because you mentioned that earlier, that was something that was very, very passionate to you all.
Well, pursuing your own just doesn't come by saying, I want to have my own. Just as that video that she did, that's a lot of work into that, and especially the business side. What a lot of folks don't understand as it relates to the law firm, uh, we did something. I always tell folks it was magical, not just from the standpoint that we felt like we were good lawyers and we could go into a courtroom, do something, and we could develop cases to go into that courtroom and to get resolutions to it. We did not have a human resource department. We didn't have an administrative department. We were it. When we got started as a law firm at Keachin and G back May 11th, 1990, um, we literally did all our work by day, and then we ran the law firm by night. And for at least 10 years, for 10 years, we had Sunday night meetings at 7 o'clock every Sunday night. If you're going to take a few days off and go down to Florida with your family, you better be back by 7 o'clock so we can have our business meeting. Because the continuity that you can create by having your business partners to understand all the inner workings inside of an office, it doesn't get lost. It doesn't get lost, and it does nothing but help the growth. So in doing so, we had that drive to work as many hours as we could on our files and make sure we took care of our clients. But we also took the time after hours, and especially on weekends, to make sure that administratively, from a corporate standpoint, that we did all of those type things. And we were also, for a while, our own marketing department. We didn't know really how to get things out there. And then one day we came up with this dream, all right, maybe we don't eat. Maybe
Hmm.
we don't have any money to take home to our families, but they say that we'd be the first lawyers of color to get on that tube and sustain it. And so we said, okay, whatever its cost is, we're going to do that because we wanted to put ourselves out there because we had that drive to have our own and to let it survive, not just last for a few weeks, a few months. We wanted it to go forever and a day. Um, And so when we went into marketing, we never ceased it.
And that's phenomenal because even to this day, you don't see a lot of African American law firms advertising as consistently as you all do. I mean, just on not just cruising radio, but you can turn on just about any channel, listen to any station, and you're going to hear from the studios of the G law firm playing somewhere.
Yeah, it's we had the local networks really helping us out when we first got started. Whether it was Channel 6, Channel 8, Channel 12, even Fox 35 when they got created. Yes, we were there before them, and the radio stations came to our aid and they helped walk us through some of those challenges that we would have putting things on radio, and then at some point, you talk about my son. He was 16 years old writing theme songs for us and helped writing scripts for us and things of that nature. And we bought him a camera he affectionately called Vicky to video some of the early commercials that we had also. And still to this day, he works with us. And I've got two of the best marketing people around. Of course, most folks know Angela Knight and Cavell Phillips. Cavell Phillips is that voice that you hear on other radio stations doing the Sunday morning gospel show. But between Angela Knight and Cavell, they keep us out there and they keep their pulse on the ground as to what we need to stay competitive with some of the other folks who are there.
You're absolutely right. In fact, you guys are on our station 24/7, around the clock, 7 days a week. I mean, nonstop. And, we're always, whenever you all are pushing out new commercials, new spots, we try to make sure that we are putting it out there as well. Because, again, to me, Donald, people don't understand McDonald's has sold billions, but
Yes,
they still advertise.
they still advertising.
Right.
And you're out of sight, you're out of mind. And so that's why I try to tell some of my brethren and some of my sisters, if you're going to make that, if you're going to make that investment, make it for the long haul, because we can break further and further into this industry as a people and garner some of these cases. We just have to make sure that our own people understand that we have the education, we have the experiences, we have the capabilities, and we have the drive and determination to want to work their file, to work their cases, and try to get, max out whatever coverages that we have out there. And speaking of coverages, I want to say this so that folks will understand somewhat how personal injury works, and that is this way: a lot of people will get hurt, and they get hurt badly. And they anticipate law firms in general, not just us, to get them millions of dollars. But no one gets to choose who he or she may get hit by or hurt by, or a piece of equipment that may be defective. And so one of the things that I say when it comes to automobile accidents, don't go out there and say that I can save 15% by spending 15 minutes online. Don't go out there and thinking that you're in good hands when the state of Virginia says that your minimum coverage now has to be $30,000. Because what if you get hit by that person who only has $30,000 and you lost a life or a life of a loved one, or you lost a limb, you now no longer have any hands or a leg, or you have a chronic condition such as I do that's going to last you 40 years, even after that accident, you're still having it. But you got hit by a person that only had $25,000 or $30,000 in coverage. Guess what? If that person doesn't have any personal assets, that's what the result of your case is going to be. And most folks don't understand that they have something that's called underinsured motorist coverage. It's prescribed by law, and you can get that. Also, if you have better coverages, oftentimes it makes for better cases for individuals who are hit. We see cases all day long where someone has $25,000 worth of medical bills and the person that hit them got $25,000. And they said, this is all I can get. I go, well, that person doesn't have any assets. He has no house. He has no cars. He doesn't have that job. He doesn't have that family nucleus around him to where we can get something from somebody. So the best thing to do, just as you want to max out, oftentimes people will do with their own cable and their internet and their cell phones, you may need to put an investment into the type of coverages that you get, and not just get that minimum coverage, and just not go online to do. I will tell folks in a heartbeat, if you call me, I'll give you the names of some independent insurance dealers so that you can have them to look at your policy and see if they can get you better coverages for possibly the same thing that you are paying for that 15 minutes online will save you some time. No, because if you hurt that badly and that person doesn't have any insurance, where are you going to get it from? I always use this example of Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan could have been hit by someone who had $30,000 worth of coverage, but he got hit by a Walmart truck. Can you imagine if he didn't get hit by a Walmart truck?
Wow.
And most of us know the comedian Tracy Morgan.
Right. That's Donald, you just dropped a serious nugget, because most people think, okay, insurance company, they got money, but it's not based on the insurance company's money. It's based on the person that
contracted with the insurance company. So, for instance, if and I'll tell people in a heartbeat, no, don't get hit by me unless you're willing to come to my law firm and use me. but I have $1 million policy plus $2 million in underinsured. And an umbrella package. So, because I don't want to have somebody in my family or me injured by someone with nothing. So whatever that individual contracts with that insurance company, I don't care which one it is, that's all that insurance company has to pay out. So if the person that hits you contracted for $50,000 and you have $100,000 in medical bills, the insurance company is probably going to say, hey, I got $50,000 I can give you. And then you're fussing with your attorney saying, man, I got hurt very badly and this is all I can get. Well, your attorney, if they know what they're doing, and most of them do, they're going to go out and they're going to do asset checks. They're going to look up this person's armpits, everything. They're going to look at their nostrils. They're going to look up their household. They're going to find everything that this person has. And if this person doesn't have anything,
wow,
you're stuck with that $50,000. That's the most that you can get from them. And, the things that bother me the most that I can't control is every year we get a few cases in our office where people have lost their loved ones. When I say lost their loved ones, it's not that they can't find them. They died because of an automobile accident. And then they will learn that the person that hit them wasn't a corporate entity. It was just a normal individual who's struggling for everything that he or she is trying to get. And they may have Virginia minimum coverages. And right now in Virginia, it's $30,000. But what if you get hit by this guy down in South Carolina and their minimum coverage is $15,000?
Wow.
And all you have is $30,000. Well, we have a number of cases every year that we have to tell the families, I'm sorry, this is all we can do. And some of them, they'll get mad and they go to another law firm, and that law firm tells them, this is all we can do. Or they tell them, we don't want to even take your case because the attorney, the G law firm told you what's out there. And so the only thing we can do is do what they're already telling you they can do. So be mindful of what your insurance policies looks like. And I know some people go, but you're not paying my premium. Well, I learned a long time ago, even before I was a lawyer, that if you can splurge on something, you can make some sacrifices and make sure that you protect your family. Because can you imagine having 3 kids in the car, or you, your wife, and 2 kids in the car, and you all get knocked off the side of a road, and the person that hit you does not have any insurance? And you wonder, you're walking around with $25,000 in your car? Wow. I've had to tell many clients that I am so sorry that you lost your daughter doing this, but the person that hit you doesn't have any coverage, and you let yours lapse 3 months ago.
That's crazy. So, Donna, I'm sitting here, man, my wheels are turning because I'm thinking right now about my insurance policy. And most times, like the average person, they think about covering their car. They think about, they don't think about the part that oh, I probably need to have enough money to cover myself when I'm buying my insurance for my car. Because we only
Yes.
think about the car. We're not thinking about, like I said, the medical bills, the injuries, the
The
possible
pain, the
death.
suffering, your lost
Wow.
wages, everything. And if, for instance, one of the families last year that we had to tell, the wife in the family was one of the breadwinners. She was the breadwinner, and she only had $30,000 on her car. And the person that hit her was a drunk driver, and he had nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
That is eye opening, man. Right there. I want to tell everybody you all need to just within the last 10 to 15 minutes. If you missed this, you need to go back and see it because Mr. D has really he opened my eyes. I'm always checking my coverage, and something else I find out, Donald, is that each year there's an increase. Not because I'm a bad driver, because I got good record and all that, but we get penalized for other people and their and what's going on with their insurance.
And that certainly happened. And one of the things, of course, they will put it in this generic category. It's all about the demographics. So, depending on what zip code you're in, is how much you're going to get penalized. Sometimes it's race, color, creed, and sometimes it's just a number of tragedies or accidents that may happen within a zip code that's going to cause your premium to move a little bit, and sometimes a
Mhm.
lot bit.
Yeah, exactly. And you
Oh,
mentioned again that we don't like to sacrifice because we'll go out and we'll buy all this right here
yes, sir.
and other wheels on our cars and all kind of bling and it won't have enough insurance to even properly bury our loved ones, and we're expecting this big settlement from the insurance companies that don't always happen.
It does not always happen. And I'll give you another example. 3 years ago, I represented this family. And because of some of the challenges that they had in their household, they allowed the coverage on their automobile policies to lapse. That means they don't have any coverage at all. And they were had been riding around for a couple of months without insurance. And they went through a thought process. And one of the things that they decided that they were going to keep instead of the insurance was the cell phones for the husband, the wife, and a couple of teenage kids. And they let their insurance lapse. And after a couple of months of it being lapsed, they had a very bad automobile accident. And
Mm.
the person that hit them had 25,000. They had a 25,000, $50,000 policy, and what that means is no person could get any more than $25,000. But the most insurance company is contracted to pay out for that accident is that $50,000. So most of you who don't know how to read the policies, typically that number on the left hand side, that smaller number, is what an individual can get, and that larger number on the right hand side of that slash is what the most money that they will pay out, whether 2 people are injured or whether 22 people are injured. That's all they're going to pay out. And with this particular family, um, each one of them had bills greater than $62,000.
Wow. We don't find these things out until it's too late a lot of times. And Don, you got to come back, man, and do some more educating
I
on this
would love
because
to come back and talk policy with you. Seriously, I'll talk insurance policies and some of the things that we need to do, some of the things that we need to look for, some of the people that I think you should contact, because insurance companies bank on the fact that you can have an automobile accident. You can go into one of the local hospitals. They run the appropriate test on you. Those tests come back, and the cost of those things are $30,000 and $40,000. And they run the gamut that you've only signed up for their minimum coverage.
mm,
And so they rather for you to hit them for that $30,000 and they get this premium than to have to pay out $100,000 or $250,000. And sometimes if you hit the right company, the premiums are not too much greater. And that's why you got to shop around. Just can't say, oh, I use this company or I use that company. No, you got to get in front of some folks And I can, if those folks around here in Virginia, I can steer you to a couple of people that could really help you out. And these are the same people that I've been using since April of 1988.
Wow.
And I haven't changed from this company. And if they see something within my policies or they see something over here, they make the recommendation. You might want to think about, let's switch from company A to company B. One to save your premiums, but you may be able to do this, or you can get something extra on your on this policy. And that's important, not to just be stagnant and pay week after week after month after month after year for something most people don't even have a clue what they have. I used to go out and do these seminars, and believe it or not, whether it was 10 people or a church would invite us to, or 300 people, or some function they brought us to, I would ask a simple question. How many of you in here know how much insurance you have? And if I had 300 people, I would probably have 5 people raise their hand.
Wow.
Because they had no clue what they had
Right.
on their policies. But if you're going to ride a car out here, you're going to get into a vehicle, you never know when it's your time. So you better know what you have. You need to know what you really have before you get into that car, or before you send a loved one into that car.
Man, that is some deep. I mean, you will have my wheels turning all night as we get ready to close out tonight. I want to talk about again those three pillars: reputation, respect, and results. What does how does that drive your firm, and how did you all come up with that formula for success?
Well, you growing up again, if you don't put the drive into it, you're not going to get certain results.
Mm,
You can work that crop in the field, and if you don't work it right, guess what? You're going to be hungry in the wintertime. You're going to be cold because you didn't get that wood in. So the results are something that we always look towards. But then, how do you keep yourself from having to do certain things? You get those results, and you look at how did you process this? And if you sit there and you work at certain things and you work at it and you get results, you're going to pick up that reputation. And oftentimes that reputation is the difference between an adjuster offering you part of the policy limits or offering you all of the policy limits. Because most adjusters will tell you, I've got this, I don't care attitude. You know, if you want to spend your money and get a lawyer, then I can try this case against your lawyer also. But I know what I want, and I think I know what's fair. Part of negotiations is never to get um, everything that you want, unless it makes sense to do that. And it's never to let them have whatever they want unless it makes sense to do that. And we can talk about liability questions and things of that nature, or catastrophic injuries. But my thing was, we always had to, Earl and Donald McKeechin and all the lawyers that we've ever had with us, we always wanted to drive that insurance company. So when they saw our name, they would come correct in making offers to us. And if they did not, our reputations would be such that, well, we'll just try the case. I had an adjuster to call me yesterday. Mr. G, you have not responded to the offer we made to you. Well, in my mind, you're going to make me an offer to either think that I'm some rookie attorney, or
mhm.
I just want to get rid of a case. It doesn't work that way. So I said, no, my response will be coming to you in a couple of days. And I told my legal assistant, Jack, I said, Jack, you make sure that you put at the top of the heap the draft of this complaint, because I'm filing the lawsuit. And when you get the lawsuit, she's going to say, you never countered. And I'm going to say, because you made me a punk offer. And I don't deal that way.
Hello. And that has been the reputation, Donna, that you all have had. I don't care who I talk to. You mentioned the name G, and you got that reputation, you got that respect, and you all get the results. And again, 30 years, phenomenal. Want to wrap up because we're gonna have to come back and have this conversation, man.
Cruz,
It's
I'm
so much.
available to you most times. You know I'm not going to turn you down. You do good work, my brother.
I appreciate that. Let's talk about what it meant to be honored by I think it was Black Wall Street in 2019.
Yeah, yes, it was Black Wall Street, but and we probably don't have time to get into the history of Black Wall Street, um, but to have this firm acknowledged as being influential, having the reputation to be able to turn cases around and be successful with cases, and to have grown a business to the point where people would recognize us as, I hate to use this term loosely, but this was one of them said that night to me. He said, "No, you all are real players in this community." And that meant a lot. And not just for me, but for a lot of the younger, especially minority of lawyers to come behind. Yes, as you said earlier, Cruz, you can go get a job any place that you want to. But if your drive is to have your own, think about that. And it can be done if you put the time and the energy into it. And having that 2019 recognition for doing that meant a lot. I mean, after all these years, finally somebody said, you all stand a cut above some of the others that are out there. So I honor that. I took that award, and I didn't put it in a closet. That thing is sitting proudly on one of my walls in my office.
That's phenomenal. Donald, before we close out, I want to do something because this means a lot to me because I was very, very close to his wife. I had the opportunity to have perhaps one of the last interviews with a phenomenal man. You all know him much more than I do, but I'd like to take just to have a moment of silence here to remember a soldier on the battlefield for doing so many great things that people don't even know that he did here in this industry. So if you would just join me for a second, I know that this was very, very personal for you all, but I think that this honor, he is due this honor. Again, our hearts continue to go out for Colette and her family and you all as well, Donald. Because this was more than a business partner; he was a friend for you all.
Yes, he was. He was a friend. He was family to us. And you know, it goes without saying when you have a firm called McKeachin and G, he got his name on there for for a whole lot of reasons. But he was a guiding light. He spearheaded so many things in our offices, and we can come back at some other time and talk about some of the community work. But that was just as great of a trial lawyer as that man was. He was even a greater humanitarian. And when he said, let's go out to the community and service the community and let's do these things and try to lift up other people and make sure that we're shining examples for other people, he meant it. He was very serious about when we went out and some of the things we wanted to do. Yes, he was a politician, but he was a politician because at heart he was a community guy. And it didn't matter if it was a small community with 3 or 4 people around, or if it was a large community of 3 million people that he needed to affect. That was important to him.
Donald, close out with this thought for us. About being community. I think it was somewhere I heard you say that you all are basically a community oriented company. Talk about that.
Well, as much as my mother drove us to education, we lived on a dirt road, and there were a number of houses around us, and that community raised us up. That community helped us get through things. That community helped provide food to us, and that's what the whole community did for each and every family that was on that road. And coming out and to think that you could start a business and this is all about the selfishness of you enjoying some of the gains of the business because of the problems and issues that folks from your community have to go through, that is wrong. So I challenge any business, any corporation, any law firm to do more and more and more for the community in which they serve, because we all are making a living off of other folks' problems. I don't care what walk of life you have. If there were no sinners, there's no need for preachers. If there were no hungry people, you wouldn't need grocery stores. If there were not bad teeth out there, you wouldn't have a dentist. So put back into your community. And that's where we saw from day one we wanted to do, not just go out and make a living off of the community and not give back.
Well, we certainly appreciate what you all are doing in the community. And again, we're going to come back, schedule some more time where we can start to dig down into. I'm a firm believer in that whatever knowledge I have, it needs to be shared. God didn't give me this or give me this platform for any vain reason. He wanted me to use this platform to educate, empower, and help to change somebody else's life. And I was just talking to my wife about you the other day. I said, personally, I got to sit down with Donald because there's some things that I want to accomplish in terms of going to somebody I trust. And that's important to me in terms of financial things, planning. And we're going to get in that a lot more because we take for granted every day that we're going to wake up tomorrow. Then tomorrow's not promised. So we need to have some things in order for our family not to suffer or have any, like I said, long-term tragedy because we didn't prepare. We're scared to prepare. Well, it's inevitable that we're going to leave here. So we may as well make sure our business is in order.
Yes, sir. Well said.
I'm going to give you the last words. Don't go anywhere, though, but go ahead and close us out tonight. Don't, shout out time.
Well, I think you've done a wonderful job in shouting out for me. But Cruz, I'm here. We try to help out everybody in our community that we can within reason. And for those in the community that trust us enough to bring some of your legal needs to us in the personal injury realm, wrongful death realm, defective equipment realm, we are here to help service you. We have offices in Southside Richmond. We have offices in the East End, down in Petersburg, and in South Hill. And it's always been, whether it was McKeechin and G or the G Law Firm, personal injury attorneys in our communities. That's because we believe in that. And we're out there to try to help as many people as we can in our community. And also, when we do represent individuals, we don't want folks in our community to be shortchanged. We don't want individuals in our community to not get what sounds like a commercial, what they deserve. So we put that effort. We want to make sure that we've uncovered everything that we could to possibly get them the max out on every case that we can do so. So I thank you for having us. I'm Donald G. If you need me, just phone call away.
All right, everybody. Again, thank you for tuning in and being here with us. Donald, don't go anywhere. I'm going to come right back. Everybody, again, we certainly appreciate you being here with us tonight. Thank you so much for supporting us. It means a lot. I don't care if it's 3 of you all or 300 of you all. If we do something, if we give you some information that either changes or brings stability or inspire or encourage, then we have did our job. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you. And as I always say, whatever comes from the heart reaches the heart. Let somebody know how much you care about them before it is too late. You all have a fantastic evening. God bless you and good night.